Yes guys, and welcome from me, this is Championship Manager 0102 Rewind. Now you're thinking, what is Rewind? But I'll explain it to you, right? So there was some breaking news recently that a lot of you may already be aware of it, but for those of you that are not aware of it, there will be no more updates on Championship Manager in April. So we're only going to go to one update per year now, which will always be roughly around October, give or take. Now, truth be told, in my opinion, bearing in mind the workload that goes in with the updates alone, and that's just only one segment of the website, I think it's the right thing to do. Because let's be honest, there ain't really too much activity that happens in the January transfer window, not like there used to be years ago, when the deadline used to be in March, as per ODB, of course. So for me, it's the right thing to do. Obviously, there's an element of, but do you know what? It is what it is, and I personally think it's the right thing to do. I think, that, you know, a lot of the guys that do the research and shit, they're also involved in other projects, and the most obvious one to mention is the 8485. So, you know, these guys, as well as what they do with the update, they do so much more that probably gets unnoticed. I mean, if someone's not interested in the 8485 database, they'll be oblivious that it's a lot of the same people that partake in the research and shit. So, with that in mind, I read a comment recently from somebody saying, learning something new all the time. And it was one of my old videos of a patch. So I thought I'd rerun something, given that news of no update. So I thought I would go through it again and go through an installation guide with the most recent patch. Now, the most recent NickPatcher is version 2.30. Version 2.30. And I'm going to show you exactly, this is my perspective, not everyone's cup of tea, but if you want the update, you want it as close to real life as possible, then this is my take on it. So the first things first, you need the game. Now the game, everything shall I say, is downloadable from the official Championship Manager website. That's Championship Manager, champman0102.net. The link is on the useful links within the station. And download the game. And it is totally free, totally legal. You do need to be registered, of course. And you will download right there a CM0102 ISO, which all you do is you double click the ISO and that will open up what's called a virtual drive. As you can see, drive, it says a DVD drive E has just opened up. Now, I have got a CD drive on the computer, but fuck me, the last time I stuck something in there, Jesus Christ. But these are virtual. Now, if you're using Windows 11, 10 and 8, all you need to do is double click on it like so. You can right click it if you want and mount, or just double click it. The very first time you click it, you might need to open with Explorer. Windows, you might need to do that for the first time. If you're using Windows 7 or XP or Windows 95, if you're a fucking dinosaur, you will need to use a third-party ISO program, okay? But I think probably there's a small percentage of people that are using those operating systems. Okay, so you've run the CD, or, of course, if you've got the CD, chuck your CD in and run it, and this is what you get. So first step, very, very simple step, is install CM. Install CM, your specifications. Now, the very first step here, where it gives you a destination folder, you can change this accordingly. I should point out, step 2 will probably malfunction if you don't put it in this destination folder. Don't quote me on that. I think you're best off leaving it on C. Unless you are not, if you're putting the update on, I would leave it at C, and I'll explain why in a moment. Choose your type, typical, compact or custom. I always use custom because I don't want any of this shit. It might appeal to some, it don't appeal to me. It minimises how much space you're using, although that's not really a massive issue. And now just install CM, step 1 then. Now at this point, of course, once this is installed, you're good to play CM if you want. This is what's called vanilla version. Do you want to create a shortcut? No, I don't. Do you want to view the README, and do you want to install DirectX? You should already have that on your computer, but no harm in just installing it again. Keep an eye on that there. Ensure that you have installed Service Pack 3 on your system. Basically, that is your compatibility, which will already be on your computer anyway. So step 1 complete. Now, we're talking about the update here. So what we need to do now is go and install the official 3.96a. Again, this is downloadable from the website. This is an official SI Games patch version 3.968. That version that we've got at the moment, that we've just installed, is version 3.960. You don't need 3.962 or 3.965, which are available. You do need 6.8 in order for your update to work. Now, for the benefit of some databases, like the 8485, those guys, those geniuses, have worked around that, and you can just download. They've got it all compiled into one. You don't even need to do it that. There is this instruction, but in respect of this way, you do need to do it. Now, I will say, before I carry on the official website, it's actually got the instructions here, and the guys at the update, they've got their own variation of installing the game. So if you find maybe I'm not so helpful, or you can pick up things from them, vice versa, or even just in these steps here, that is there as well. Okay, so install SI Games version 3.968. Now, do you remember I said to you, put it into drive C? And the reason being is because what the computer is doing now, it's looking to detect that you've got CM, the vanilla version, installed on your computer. And as you can see, current install version 3.960, and new version to install 3.968. Now, if you've put it into drive D, you've changed it for whatever reason, because some people do have partitions, it won't locate it. I don't think it will anyway. So it will malfunction. I'm pretty certain it will. So keep it in C, and there you go. That is done. So at this point, CM is still ready to play. 3.968. Technically, it's the 0203 database, and technically, it's the one with the Super Greeks. But we don't want any of that shit. Okay, we are good to go. So let's now go to the next step, which is the database. So you've downloaded the October 2024 data update, and it's very, very important. Highlight everything. Highlight absolutely everything. Copy it, and go and copy it and paste it into your new CM folder. Now, don't get confused here, because these are my other installs. You look at this one here, because I've not renamed it yet. Go to your data folder, right click and paste it, or control whatever the fuck, control and V. Replacing any files that it prompts you. 68 of them, right, okay. So this is all standard procedure. So you're all good. So at this very, very moment now, if we run CM, we're going to play with the date 0102, but the update will be live. Okay, but that's not good enough for me. It's not good enough for me whatsoever. What we're going to do now is we are going to go and run one of Nick's patches. Now, of course, Nick's patcher, there are various versions of Nick's patcher. If you are going to use a Nick's patcher, then I would be inclined to be using the most recent one, version 2.30. Now, of course, in light of only one update per year, which will effectively mean probably one updated patcher, that's if Nick is about. I mean, to be fair, we don't see much of Nick out the season of updates. He tends to just spring up, don't he? So run your patcher, okay? Very, very important, this next thing. It's now looking for CM0102. Now, it will actually find it, because I haven't renamed it, and there we are, it's found it. You're patching an executable that has not been patched before. Would you like the patcher to suggest some options? No, go fuck yourself. But just to be sure that you are modifying the EXE that you want to modify, and I do this purely for my own sake, because I've got lots of them. I just do this, you see. Make sure it's the right one, and it's the right, and it'll prompt me again. Okay. We're good to go. So, this is now your base. There you go. I thought that's what I was waiting for. No, we don't. So, this is now asking me, this is the base of Nick's patcher. And I'm sure a lot of you already know this. Enable coloured attributes, yes. Disable splash screen. Enable 7 subs. Show star players. Obtain jobs easier abroad. Yes, 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 yes. Change resolution if you need to. I don't need to. Replace Welsh Premier League with the English National League North or South. I'm going to choose South because I've already got a North installed. Replace AI tactics with, and you can choose. Now, I tend to see a few errors with this. So I would personally leave that, and you could do that. You could do that externally. You could do that long way around. You could actually download the AI tactics and paste them in manually. Force load all players. I would not personally do that. Manage any team. I wouldn't do that. Make executable portable. Some of this I don't know what it is, so I just tick it anyway. Swap South Korea for China. Show hidden attributes. That is the 4th column, of course. Apply known bug fixtures. Yes. Disable unprotected contracts. Yes. Disable CD removal message. Yes. Position in tactics, condition view, yes. Allow closing game window, yes. Regen fixes, yes, yes. Hide non-public bids, I'm going to put no. Add to party's regen code, yes. Restrict players' tactics and scouters, that is disabling the WibRob screen, no. Update names in transfer windows, enable your potential to grow. Now then, few things we haven't gone to yet. You can see in the bottom right, apply year-specific mispatches. That is not lit. But if I show you the change the year, let's change that to year start in 2024. Because remember, it must be in line with the update. And as you can see, apply year-specific mispatches is now there. Bang. Currency inflation, each to their own, what they prefer. I'm tending to, I've always gone ×2, but I've tended in the last couple of updates, I've moved it to ×2.5. I think that reflects the modern day currency, if I'm really honest with you. That's just my opinion. And the game speed, whatever you want. Some people leave it as default. I tend to go ×8. Now at this point, we apply. Now depending on the speed of your laptop, PC or whatever, it will determine how long it takes. Now at this point, it's asking you to make a restore point. I'm not going to, but I'm going to explain what a restore point is in a moment. Before it applies what we've just asked for, it emphasises that the updating of names, the swapping of South Korea, and the replacing the Welsh League are irreversible. Very, very important. Okay, so that's going to take a minute or so. So making a restore point is basically like making a saved game and going back to it if you fuck it up. It's very, very important. It's so important, particularly for the next part that I'm going to show you as part of the miscellaneous section of NickPatcher, which is advised. It's at your discretion if you use it. Nick or anybody, and myself included, will not be held responsible if you break your EXE. Your EXE, for those of you that don't know, is your launch icon, your CM icon. There you go, patched successfully. So we're all good to go. Now at this point, I'm just going to make a restore point, and it's just a save. So then when I go and play with some other patches in a moment, if I fuck it up, I can go to restore, and it'll restore, okay? So it's like essentially like a saved game, okay? So, you know, it's definitely a worthwhile function. Okay, so, the tools, very, very important, these tools now then. Some of these I don't know what they are, some of which I do know and I don't use. Some of them are quite self-explanatory. Okay, so first things first then, that I'm going to show you, the EEC Patcher. The EEC Patcher, I always double check, make sure I'm going to the right one. In the data file, and this will make all countries EEC members, removing the need for work permits. Continue, yes or no, done. Okay. Referee Patcher. Okay, so the Referee Patcher, this is my own preference. The reason the Referee Patcher was on is because it was said some updates ago that there was too many red cards. So the option was here to bring the CAPA disciplinary percentage modifier down on a referee, which I do. So I bring it down to 50. It defaults at 80. And removing stadium limits. Now that I think is flawed personally, because I don't think that makes any difference at all. But it says it's been removed anyway. So all done, okay? So those three there then, the EEC, the referee, and the remove stadium limits are three essential ones that I go to. Now then, apply a misc patch. Now this, as Nick emphasises right here for a warning disclaimer, this will provide a list of all current miscellaneous patches. Do not apply any of these unless you know what you're doing. You will most likely break your X by applying these. Best to do a save so you can restore afterwards. Hence what I explained that. Do not ask for support on applying these. You are on your own. Now this is really these are game changers in my opinion, because if you flick through all of these, there's stacks, absolutely stacks, and you can apply whichever you want. Now a lot of which you may recall in the bottom right hand corner we applied year specific mispatches, so a lot of these have been applied for us, but these are additional ones that you may want to apply yourself. For example, there was one right at the start somewhere. Where is it now then? Where is it? There's a few that do crash, I found. There's a few that definitely do crash. You can use your search filter. So I'll tell you what, right? Let me just write loans. Now I'm a big fan of the loans patch, the loan protection. And let me just find it now. No, that's not it. There it is, that one there. So I apply that. It pre-warns you. Basically, that is, you know, if you've got a player out on loan, a team can't come in for a player on loan. That's what's important about that. That's just my own preference. I like that. I really do. So let's just go to Mist. Now, on some of these, right, all available jobs in one place. 9 subs for 5, 9 and 5 subs for everything. For me, that's what's that there? What's that miscellaneous? I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to go to that one. There's a few other miscellaneous ones. Clean up. Oh, it's already ticked. What we're talking about. Enable season ticket money on your first year. Don't really like that, to be honest with you. Fitness patch. Now, I don't really know. I don't believe this can have any issues. Fixed network games patch. Of course, if you play network games, which of course is massive. Replace Northern Ireland with Austria. Now, I found that was flawed. So, I would leave that. Human manager attributes. Ignore histories on load. That, you know, that's just my own opinion on that. Let's just see if there's anything I've missed at the minute. No complaining about training. If you right, that's all okay. No foreign restrictions for all. That I tick that anyway because you may as well have it, even though page down. I like to be able to have page down. Pause on minor injury. I like to have that. Reduce FA appeal time. I like that, me personally. What else we got? We got some more here. I know we got loads more. See any team finances. I like that. I think we should. Uncapping of 20. Use common names for Brazilian regens. That's an interesting one. Right, okay, that's all okay. Don't think there's anything else, is there? No, so we'll apply. Okay. Okay, so there we have it. So you might want to just go back and just rerun through them. There was one actually, and I know who it's from, but I can't remember what it was called. It's just a little thing. It's just a real tiny little fucking patch that I really like. And it's this one here. Actually, it's not that one. It's one above it. A lot of these, most not all, have a description right here as to what they are. And I think that is basically it. I might have missed a couple here and there. Okay, so apply. Okay, so I'm now going to come off this. Okay, and we're going to fire up CM. Okay, we're going to fire up CM right now. But before I fire it up for the very, very first time, very important that I'm telling you this is what I do. If you have multiple installations, okay, and I'm just going to call it test. Once you've edited it once, you can't edit it again once you've run the game. Double check you are running as an admin, which I am, and your Windows compatibility is Service Pack 3. Do you remember we said that at the start of the installation? I tend to go 95 because that's more from a network perspective. And of course, you saw that miscellaneous patch. Okay, so it's going to bring me in full screen now because I tend to play in window, but this is a fresh install. And there we have it. Okay, so we're just going to go on a minimum database just for the minute. Just for the moment, we'll have a minimum database, okay? Let's start a brand new spanking game. Okay, this won't take long because we've not got any history going on. Okay, there we go. Now, there was oh, right, okay, it must have already been... There's a mispatch saying no need for second name requirement, but it must have already been ticked. Okay, choose our team. We'll just choose for the sake of it, the losers from the Champions League, Arsenal. And... Right, okay, so now I just want to find now then, somebody... I wanted to find somebody that would need a work permit ordinarily. Thomas Partey is definitely one of them, and he does. And as you can see, it doesn't say anything about it. So that's worked. We know that that's worked. Okay. So what I'm going to do very, very quickly, just going to put myself into window form just for a minute. There we go. Okay, so let's just look at Odegaard. No, we'll look at Man City, or we'll look at Mo Salah, shall I say? Might be better. And you can see, well, the colours are a little bit different there, aren't they? What the fuck? The colours are a lot different on that. I've never known the colours like that. Let me just go and check Man City then. Look at Haaland. Okay. Well, that's fucking bizarre, isn't it? Because they should be blue. They should be much more vibrant, but you can barely see it. Finishing is 24. Heading is 23, I think. Okay. Penalties is 24. That's a little bit fucking, well, worrying. Okay. But, you know, it can be easy to get blindsided by uncapping of 20s, in my opinion. I've learnt that the hard way. So we're all good. We are all good. Okay. So let me just exit this now. I'm not going to save it. So I'm now going to run the patch again. Okay. I'm going to run the patch again. And I'll explain why I'm running the patch again. Is because I'm now going to go and make a save. Do you remember we said about making saves? Make sure you're running the same patch, version 2.30. Right, that's because I renamed it. It auto looks for Championship Manager 0102, but I've renamed it. So I always go to browse anyway, and I look for it specifically, just make sure I've got the right one. And go to it manually. It's always a good idea. So we're going for test. And yeah, there we go. And right, we're all good. So at this point, I'm saving, okay? Because I know what I'm about to show you next, or if you do this, you might make an error after this, and at least you can go back to where we've just fired up a test game, okay? So the next things now then, let's go back to this now then. So I've said, we've seen what NickPatcher is. Go home tool, I believe that is to do with when players are stuck on international duty. I've seen that error. I've never actually had it. Review your EXE log. Review stuff that you've been doing. Player transfer tool. If you want to get into the habit of transferring players yourself, doesn't appeal to me. History editor. Save changer tool. RGN image converter. Offset calendar. Save scouter. A lot of them don't really apply or appeal to me. But the last one that does is this one here. Apply a patch file. Very much like applying NickPatcher. But these patch files now. People make patches, a bit like what Neil's got. A bit like what Cam has. Fuck's sake. A bit like what Nick has got in his NickPatches, but these are individuals. Now I've got some because I've acquired the offsets from here and there. People, you know, people that really go into the game and learn about the, or as close to the hard code of the game. They work out this. I haven't got the fucking foggiest. The best I can do is if somebody tells me the offset figures. I can make it into a patch and then I can apply it. That's as much as I can do. That's my limitations. So, if I go to offsets, these are the offsets that I've got. Now, so I tend to always apply a few of these. One of which is training facilities out of 20. And basically, I'll show you exactly what that does in a moment. I apply school search, 180. I'll show you what that is in a moment. I don't apply that. I apply the no club. I don't apply the more goals. I apply chairman's attributes. I think that might already be in. And I apply AI squad status. Okay? And that's it. That's all I apply. So, at this point now, I would do another test. And assuming it all works fine, I'll go back to it and I'll save it. Okay, so we're going to save a game. And if I just show you, it says up there, it automatically detects which one you're running if you are using multiple installations. Can't quite work out why the colour of those attributes are darker than usual. Bit bizarre. Let's do that. Let's do Man City. Let's do Liverpool, shall we? Let's see if it's any different on this particular one. No, they're dark again. That's bizarre. Don't quite know why, but who gives a shit? Okay, so I said to you about these things that I've just applied, one of which, training facilities. So you can see Liverpool, you can see their facilities out of 20, as opposed to just the word excellent, and you can see that with absolutely everybody. Remember one of those NickPatches that we applied? We can see our rivals' bank balance, Everton, minus 37.5 million, Southampton, and so on and so on and so on. We can look at rivals' squad status of players. So let's go to Chelsea. Let's look at, there's always a couple over here. Badiashile. Let's look at Badiashile, and he is not needed by the club. So if he's not transfer listed, you don't know this. So I think that's a big thing, because I think in reality, in the news, people would be aware that Batshuayi is surplus to requirements at Chelsea. So if I was playing a game here as Liverpool, I'd think, oh, look at that, Batshuayi. You'd probably get him for about 6-7 million, because you know it's a bit like when when a player says he wants first team football. Now, normally, without this squad status thing over here, you see someone that wants first team football, you think, right, should be able to get him. But deep down, if it's not needed, then you ain't got a great chance of getting him, because they won't want to sell him. So it's a really handy tool, in my opinion. So that's one. Now, I said to you about the words school and no club. We all know, don't we? We all know what Sedgeford means, don't we? We all know what Sedgeford means. School and no club are very, very similar. No club is a list of all players that are a no club that have a PA of at least 150. So they're not great players. It's a handy tool if you're playing lower leagues. Okay, remember I've got a minimum database here, so that's why it's not brought up many. I've only got England selected, so they look like a shower of shit, right? I mean, he's all right, but he's on the Sedgeford anyway. Sedgeford, I think, has a PA of 170. No club is 150. Okay. If you've got lots of leagues and a proper database, you'll have a lot more. So there's that. And then, of course, there's school. This is case sensitive, let me remind you. And school, PAs of at least 180. So Endrick, Joe Bellingham. There's sometimes, a lot of these are always the same upon a new save. But certain players, I don't think I've seen Joe Bellingham on there before. And so on and so on. Again, you'll have more players on this list if you had more leagues. So if you looked at Greg Mitchell there, Greg Mitchell, he's not got any. Bolton and Grimsby are chasing him. He looks like a complete shower of shit, and he is. But he's on this list, which means he is loaded up with a PA of at least 180, if not more. Okay, you're obviously going to see players like Gavi there, Mainu there. You're obviously going to see Yamel there, and so on and so on. Mikey Moore always turns into a good player, I've noticed. So it really is bizarre. So for me personally, I like the school search. I think it's a bit of a game changer. It almost avoids you using a third-party program to use Scout. It's easier. Makes it a little bit easier to track your regens, because if you're looking for your Mo Salah regen who's just retired, assuming he's regen as an under 20, he'll appear here. Now remember, school search will only bring you under 20s. Whereas the no club, so you may find, right, if a regen has regened without a club, but he's regened over 20 years of age, he won't appear at school, but he will appear here if his PA matches. Now, of course, Mo Salah's regen will have the same PA as Mo Salah, and the same foot and the same position, but he might not necessarily start as an under 20, which means he might not be on that school search. And it does happen. It definitely does happen. But what I'm going to show you very, very, very quickly before we exit the game, I just said to you a moment ago, didn't I, about the colours and stuff like that. The colours are little bit fucking weird. Why they're darker? I don't think it's to do with Conference Premier, because I've the Conference of the Southern in my normal install, which is with the Conference North. Okay. I'll just fire up a quick game. I'm just going to start it as Man City or Liverpool, just so I can show you. I don't have the histories on, just because they're of no interest to me. Let's just go to Liverpool. Let's go to Salah. And there you see. That looks better, don't it? So I'm not quite sure why it did that. But that's with the Northern Premier. Okay. So I'm hoping if there's one person who didn't tune into a video from 2 years ago or whatever, has learned from that one step, then I'm happy. You know, that's it. So that's it from me, guys. Until next time, take it easy.